Thinking correctly is not just about intelligence, it is about mastering the way you guide your own mind in every circumstance. Life will throw storms at you, people will doubt you, situations will challenge you, but if you train yourself to think correctly, no outside force can ever truly defeat you. Correct thinking means learning how to see opportunities when others see problems. It means choosing clarity over confusion, peace over chaos, and growth over stagnation. It means understanding that every situation is filtered through the lens of your mind, and if you sharpen that lens, you sharpen your entire life. The way you think dictates how you feel, how you act, and ultimately how you live. If you feed your mind with fear, with negativity, with doubt, your reality will mirror those thoughts. But if you train your mind to ask better questions, to search for possibilities, to believe in solutions, you will always find a way forward. When challenges come, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn? What can I create from this?" Correct thinking is about taking control of your perspective. It is about reminding yourself that you are not a victim of life, you are a creator of it. When you start to think correctly, you stop giving away your power. You stop letting other people's opinions define you. You stop allowing temporary setbacks to dictate your future. You begin to see that your mind is the most powerful tool you have. The way you interpret events, the story you tell yourself about what happens, shapes whether you rise or whether you fall. And the moment you take responsibility for your thoughts, you begin to shape a new destiny. Correct thinking does not mean avoiding pain or pretending everything is perfect. It means facing reality with courage, with honesty, and with determination to rise above it. It means disciplining your mind to stay steady when everything around you is shaking. It means saying to yourself, "I may not control what happens, but I will always control what I think about it. I will decide how I respond. I will choose the meaning I give to this moment." If you can master that, you become unstoppable. You no longer live by chance, you live by choice. You no longer let fear dictate your moves, you let faith, clarity, and vision lead the way. The world belongs to those who learn how to think correctly, because correct thinking opens doors that fear would have kept closed. Correct thinking transforms problems into stepping stones. Correct thinking makes the impossible possible, because it trains your mind to see beyond the obstacle and into the opportunity that lies within it. So train yourself. Guard your thoughts. Direct them with intention. Choose them with wisdom. Because when you learn how to think correctly, no matter what life places in front of you, you will always find a way to rise, to grow, and to win. One of the most important keys to learning how to think correctly, no matter what, is understanding that the way you interpret a situation is more powerful than the situation itself. Every event in life is neutral until you assign it meaning. It is your mind that decides whether something is a failure or a lesson, whether it is the end of the road or the beginning of a new chapter, whether it is a reason to give up or a reason to rise higher. This single principle can transform your life, because once you realize that you are not controlled by events but by your interpretation of them, you step into a level of freedom and power that few people ever experience. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same challenge, but one comes out bitter, broken, and hopeless, while the other comes out wiser, stronger, and more determined. The difference is not in the event, it is in the mindset. It is in the story they told themselves while walking through that pain. If your mind immediately clings to despair, to self-pity, to the idea that you are cursed or doomed, then even the smallest obstacle feels like a mountain you can't climb. But if your mind is trained to think correctly, if it is disciplined to search for lessons, if it is conditioned to believe that there is always a way forward, then even the heaviest challenges become opportunities to show your strength. The truth is, life is never going to be fair. It is never going to give you everything exactly the way you want it. But correct thinking teaches you that fairness is not the point. Growth is. Correct thinking shows you that while you cannot control every circumstance, you can control the way you show up in every circumstance. And when you control the way you show up, you can change the outcome, you can influence the future, and you can keep yourself moving when others stand still. Let's go deeper. The mind is constantly talking to you. It tells you stories about who you are, about what is happening, and about what the future will look like. Most people allow these stories to run wild, unchallenged. They believe every fearful thought, every doubt, every limitation that passes through their head. But thinking correctly means questioning those thoughts. It means pausing long enough to ask yourself, is this true? Does this belief serve me? Is this interpretation helping me or hurting me? The moment you begin to challenge your thoughts instead of blindly accepting them, you reclaim your power. Imagine something doesn't go your way. You lose a job, a relationship ends, an opportunity slips away. The incorrect way of thinking is to say, this always happens to me. I'm unlucky. I'm not good enough. And when you tell yourself that story, your energy drops, your confidence shrinks, and you begin to settle for less than you deserve. But correct thinking says, this happened, but what can I learn? What is this teaching me about myself? Where can I grow from this? What door could this be closing so another one can open? That way of thinking doesn't deny the pain, but it refuses to let the pain define you. It directs your energy forward instead of backward. It makes you resilient instead of fragile. Correct thinking also means refusing to let external voices overpower your internal compass. People will have opinions about you. They will project their fears onto you. They will doubt your dreams because they could not achieve their own. If you let their voices become the loudest in your mind, you will never live a life that is authentically yours. Thinking correctly requires building a filter. You must learn to ask yourself, does this opinion align with my vision? Does this belief empower me, or does it chain me? The wrong thoughts will shrink you, but the right thoughts will expand you. When you practice correct thinking consistently, it changes how you experience reality itself. Obstacles are no longer enemies, they are teachers. Setbacks are not signals to quit, they are detours guiding you towards something greater. Every negative emotion becomes a signal, not a sentence. Fear becomes a sign that you are growing. Failure becomes proof that you tried. Criticism becomes feedback, not condemnation. This shift in interpretation is the foundation of strength because it allows you to remain unshaken no matter what happens outside of you. And let's be clear, thinking correctly is not easy. It is not something that happens overnight. It is training. Just like your muscles need exercise to grow stronger, your mind needs repetition to develop new patterns. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your old thoughts will try to pull you back into fear, doubt, and negativity. But the more you practice choosing empowering thoughts over destructive ones, the more automatic it becomes. Over time, you build a habit of resilience. You build a habit of hope. You build a habit of perspective. It is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is not about denying reality. It is about choosing to see reality in a way that empowers you instead of destroying you. It is about becoming the master of your mind instead of the prisoner of your thoughts. The strongest people in history were not those who lived without hardship. They were those who trained their minds to interpret hardship differently. They thought correctly, and that gave them strength to keep walking when others stopped, to keep believing when others lost faith, and to keep creating when others surrendered to despair. When you truly grasp this key point, it liberates you, because you realize that no matter what happens in life, you always have a choice. You cannot always control the storm, but you can control how you sail through it. You cannot always control what people say, but you can control what you choose to believe. You cannot always control the outcome, but you can control the effort, the focus, and the attitude you bring. And if you think correctly about those things, then nothing, no setback, no rejection, no failure can stop you from rising again and again. This is the essence of correct thinking, the power to decide what meaning you give to life's events, the courage to challenge your thoughts, and the wisdom to choose interpretations that push you forward instead of holding you back. It is the most powerful skill you can ever master, because once your mind is trained to see with clarity and strength, everything else in life becomes possible. Another powerful key to learning how to think correctly no matter what is mastering the discipline of focus. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and where your energy flows, your life grows. Most people allow their minds to scatter across dozens of distractions. Fears about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, comparisons with others, endless noise from the outside world. When your attention is fragmented, your strength is weakened. But when you discipline your focus, when you decide consciously where to place your mental energy, you unlock a power within you that can move mountains. Correct thinking is not just about what thoughts you choose, it is about what thoughts you refuse to entertain. It is about learning to say no to the distractions that pull you away from your vision, and yes to the clarity that keeps you moving forward. Focus is not simply about productivity, it is about alignment. It is about aligning your thoughts with your values, your actions with your purpose, your energy with what truly matters. Without focus, you drift. You wake up each day reacting to whatever comes your way, pulled in 1,000 directions, exhausted yet unfulfilled. But with focus, you take back control. You decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. You train your mind to fix itself on possibilities instead of problems, on solutions instead of excuses, on the present moment instead of fears of the future. That is the essence of correct thinking, directing your mental spotlight toward what lifts you higher instead of what drags you down. Think of your mind as a garden. Whatever you focus on grows. If you water weeds, thoughts of worry, doubt, and fear, they will overtake your garden. But if you consistently water seeds of faith, clarity, and vision, those will grow strong and beautiful, shaping your future into something extraordinary. The problem is, most people don't even realize what they are watering. They wake up and immediately feed their mind with negative news, endless scrolling, gossip, and comparisons. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, hopeless, or stuck. The truth is simple: you become what you focus on. If your attention is consumed by negativity, your life will reflect it. But if your attention is trained on growth, gratitude, and greatness, your life will begin to mirror that instead. Correct thinking through focus also means training your mind to stay in the present moment. Most people live either in the past, replaying regrets, or in the future, worrying about things that may never happen. Both are illusions. The only power you ever truly have is in the present moment. The present is where decisions are made, where action is taken, where change happens. When your mind is trapped in what ifs and if onlys, you rob yourself of the ability to act powerfully in the now. Correct thinking says, yes, I will learn from the past, but I will not be chained to it. Yes, I will prepare for the future, but I will not be consumed by fear of it. My focus is here in this moment because this is where my life is unfolding. That shift alone can free you from years of mental bondage. Discipline of focus also requires awareness of what drains your energy. Every thought you think has a cost. If you constantly think about problems without seeking solutions, you are draining your power. If you constantly compare yourself to others, you are draining your joy. If you constantly replay failures, you are draining your confidence. Correct thinking requires you to notice those leaks and consciously redirect your attention. Instead of obsessing over problems, ask yourself, what can I do about it right now? Instead of comparing, remind yourself, my path is unique. Their success doesn't diminish mine. Instead of replaying failures, say, that was a lesson and now I'm wiser. Every time you shift your focus this way, you strengthen your ability to think correctly. Another element of focus is learning how to protect your mental environment. Just as your body becomes what you eat, your mind becomes what you consume. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity, criticism, or toxic voices, it will shape your thoughts. But if you feed your mind with wisdom, inspiration, and truth, your thoughts will reflect that too. Correct thinking doesn't happen in a vacuum. It requires intentional input. Read books that expand your vision. Listen to voices that uplift you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Protect your focus like it is sacred, because it is. The quality of your focus determines the quality of your life. Discipline of focus also means knowing how to hold on to your vision, even when reality hasn't caught up yet. Correct thinking is the ability to focus on where you are going instead of where you are stuck. When obstacles appear, most people stare at the wall, focusing on how big it is, how impossible it looks. But those who think correctly keep their eyes on the door, on the window, on the possibility that there is always another way through. They refuse to give all their energy to the obstacle, because they know that focus on the problem magnifies the problem. Focus on the solution magnifies the possibility. That is how breakthroughs happen, not by obsessing over what's wrong, but by focusing on what could be right. And here is the truth. Focus is a choice you must make every single day. It is not something you decide once and forget. It is a daily practice of redirecting your mind back to what matters. There will always be distractions, temptations, and noise trying to pull you away. But if you train your mind to return to focus, to come back to clarity, you develop mental strength that cannot be shaken. Correct thinking is not about never getting distracted. It is about always finding your way back to the thoughts that empower you. When you live with disciplined focus, everything changes. You become calmer because your mind is not pulled in 100 directions. You become more confident because your attention is fixed on your strengths and your growth instead of your weaknesses. You become more resilient because your focus on the vision gives you strength to endure the struggle. Most importantly, you begin to live with purpose because your energy is no longer wasted on things that don't matter. You are thinking correctly, and that correct thinking is shaping the life you were meant to live. When you learn how to think correctly, you step into the greatest power life can offer you, the ability to rise above circumstances, to refuse to be broken by setbacks, and to shape your own future no matter what the world throws at you. Thinking correctly is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing how you see it, choosing how you respond to it, and choosing how you grow from it. It is about interpreting challenges as teachers instead of enemies, and it is about focusing your mind so sharply on your vision that no distraction, no fear, and no doubt can pull you away. The world will never stop testing you. People will talk, life will shake you, and obstacles will appear when you least expect them. But if your mind is trained, if your focus is disciplined, if your perspective is empowered, then nothing can defeat you. Because your strength will no longer come from what happens outside of you. It will come from what you have built inside of you. And once your thoughts are aligned with clarity, courage, and vision, you become unstoppable. So protect your mind, guard your focus, and choose your interpretations with wisdom. Because when you master the way you think, you master the way you live. And that is the greatest victory you could ever achieve.